What was a fact taught to you in school that ended up being disproven during your lifetime? From an educational film strip, Saturn has 4 beautiful rings. The Voyager photos of the thousands of rings had come in like a week before we watched this. Germany would never reunite. The French would never allow it. Pompeii was buried slowly by falling ash. They pointed out that remnants of people were found, right in the middle of doing things, but didn't realize this contradicted the burying being slow. It's now thought that it was buried very quickly by pyroclastic flows, superheated gas traveling over 200 miles per hour. When I was a kid, the giant squid had never been captured or photographed, and some people talked about it like it was El Chupacabra. My little brother always said he'd be the first person to get footage of one. Sadly, it has since become an ordinary animal that we know exists. R.I.P. the Kraken. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Are you intentionally trying to get my generation riled up about Pluto again? LOL. That I was going to be offered free drugs all the time. Food pyramid. Your tongue has different areas for tasting different tastes, sweet on the tip, sour on the sides, bitter in the back, etc. I feel like this was some elaborate prank played on my generation. But I remember seeing this in my elementary school biology textbook. I don't even think it was disproven, like, they just stopped telling this lie. WTF. I had a teacher in 4th grade that would force left-handed kids to write with their right hand. She said that it was the normal way to write and would benefit them later in life. Circa 1974. That you're gonna end up working a minimum wage job if you don't go to college. So many, but I'll start with cold-blooded dinosaurs. I was in college when opinions about them changed. Blood is blue until exposed to oxygen. Playing with computers is a waste of time and won't lead to a career. Said to me by a very old and bitter teacher. 25 years in IT and counting. You won't always have a calculator in your pocket. Neurons can never regenerate. This was from my then 1-year-old anatomy and physiology textbook, and my private, Catholic school actually took and still takes its science seriously. We never talked about creationism or the divine influence on our natural world, not to mention our solid AP physics and AP chemistry scores. It turns out that the peripheral neuron system actually can regenerate. As of now, it doesn't seem that the central nervous system has much in the way of that capability. There are only a few dozen viruses and a few hundred bacteria types. Turns out that there are millions of viruses and trillions of bacteria. That Columbus was the first European to step foot in the New World. Once found an old textbook that stated this. This was prior to the discovery of the Viking settlement in NFLD. That microwaves kill all the nutrients in food. One that pops to mind is Niels Bohr and the electron cloud. He won a Nobel Prize for it. Then his kid won one for proving he was wrong. I wouldn't necessarily call that a fact though. You'll never get a job looking out the window. I'm an airline pilot. That people only use 10% of their brains. I mean some do, but that's not normal. I was always taught Mississippi's secession from the Union in the Civil War was to preserve states' right to be independent and nothing at all to do with slavery. That Confederate heritage was about family and not racism. Slavery is mentioned in the very first sentence of the first paragraph of the Letter of Secession as the primary reason. They decided if they couldn't own humans anymore, it would crash the economy. Pluto being a planet.